When I say that Michael Jordan was one of the greatest shot blockers in the history of the game, what is your reaction? Do you think it's absurd that I would even suggest it? After all, he only averaged what seems like a measly 0.8 blocks per game throughout his career. Well, I would argue that this stat is where the misconception comes in. Usually, the guys who we consider as the greatest shot blockers in NBA history are actually the centers. You know, the guys who are 7 feet tall and hang out around the basket. Their specific job is to protect the rim, hovering within 15 feet of the basket where the majority of shots are attempted. Naturally, it only makes sense that centers would accumulate most of the blocks. But that's the thing, MJ didn't play at center, he was a guard. Between guards, forwards, and centers, guards are the ones who generally average the fewest block shots per game, and there's several reasons for this. For one, guards are typically shorter players with less length. Second, guards' general territory is the perimeter, and a jump shot is more difficult to block than a shot inside of 15 feet, because jump shots are ideally attempted when there is space between the offensive player and the defensive player. So with that being said, MJ's career average of 0.8 blocks per game wasn't simply mediocre, but it was in fact quite excellent. In fact, among guards, during the time they played specifically at that position, MJ has the highest blocks per game average in NBA history. He also has the highest single season blocks per game average by a guard, which was 1.6, which he got in 1988. The previous season, he averaged 1.5, which was the 4th highest at the position of all time. MJ was able to achieve these numbers thanks to several incredible traits that most basketball players don't possess. For one, he was an incredible leaper who had one of the highest vertical leaps in basketball history. Second, he had remarkable intuition. His defensive IQ was off the charts, and he often caused a lot of disruptions to offensive players by either trapping them as the help defender or by sneaking up on them on the weak side when they least expected it. This on-court awareness and impeccable sense of timing enabled him to block shots of much bigger players that he theoretically should have no business blocking. The third aspect was Jordan's insane quickness and speed. It's one thing to make the proper read as a defensive player, but it's another thing entirely to have the quickness and the athleticism to be able to execute that block. That was something that Jordan did with precision and frequency, especially in his early 20s when his quickness was at its peak. I feel like some of you still might be overlooking Jordan's immense greatness as a shot blocker, so let me share an eye-opening stat. Getting 4 blocks in a single game is a tough thing to do. Generally speaking, that's a great night of rim protection, even for the greatest rim protectors the game has to offer. For goodness sake, the NBA's current leader in blocked shots is Victor Wembanyama, and he's 7'5" and averaging roughly 3.5 per game. Now, as far as Michael Jordan, he had 26 games in his career where he had at least 4 blocked shots. To give you some perspective on just how impressive that is, consider how MJ has more of those games than the combined totals of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and both of his sons. Also consider how most of those players are significantly taller than Jordan as well, and played nearly 5,000 games combined compared to Jordan's 1,000. Simply put, Jordan is easily one of the greatest shot blockers in the history of basketball, when you consider the context of the positions and the responsibilities. Personally, I'm tired of hearing certain fan bases try to belittle Jordan's all-around abilities, saying things like he was only a scorer, when in reality, he was averaging roughly a triple-double when he played point guard in 1989. He was one of the greatest pickpockets in NBA history, and yes, he was one of the greatest shot blockers that the game of basketball has ever seen. So what do you guys think? What is an underappreciated ability of a specific star player? I look forward to hearing your suggestions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.